Bonjour tout le monde, vous allez bien? Sorry, wrong crowd. I feel a little bit like a fish out of water. Ha ha ha. It was easy. Wow, what an amazing platform. Have you guys been enjoying yourselves? Have you made a lot of connections? It's been a fantastic time. I've really enjoyed my time here. As far as connections, however, I can trump BIF in one aspect. You've made a lot of connections at BIF, but I bet you that water connects absolutely every one of us in this room. And being the fish out of water, I'm going to talk a little bit about our oceans. That's another surprise, isn't it? And water's a phenomenal thing. It's just an amazing aspect of our everyday lives. This is the one and only oasis in space, and we're invited to live on it. It connects absolutely everything and everyone. If we're to look at our planet, think about next time you go skiing thousands of miles away, think about you skiing on the ocean. Everything ends up in the ocean. This gentleman, oh, maybe not. There we go. Now, who knows this guy? I bet you're all going to say that's Jacques Cousteau. That's actually Steve Zissou. I recently read an article where it stated that I was the grandson of Steve Zissou. So apparently that's who he is. He was a phenomenal influencer of the world. Not only was he a pioneer, he was a documentary filmmaker, he was an ocean explorer, he was a motivator of hundreds of millions around the world through his 134 award-winning television and films, documentaries, along with dozens of books. And he not only influenced all those people, he also influenced one particular person, also in that picture, that little 70s hippie monkey that's grabbing on for dear life. He was amazing. He would take me to places and say, allons voir. Let's go see what's around that corner. Let's go see what's under that coral head. And it's with that infusion of adventure and of curiosity to go and dénicher, unearth, or unwater in this case, some of the mysteries of our world, that it's infused me with the insatiable curiosity about our oceans. It's thanks to him that I've been diving since I was 4 years old. And he was also one of those people that would say, go and experience other things to make sure that before you come in and join the team, the family, and become an indentured servant and a poverty-stricken person, that you have a good taste for what's out there to make sure that's what you want to do. Well, I can safely say that once you stick your head underwater, it's really difficult to ignore that part of the ocean planet. It's an amazing place. How many of you dive? Okay, that's about the right ratio. About 200,000 people in this country get certified every year. Now, not many of them go and become avid divers and lifelong ocean explorers, but they've gotten a taste. And for those of you who have not gotten a chance, I say, go for it. We've taught people who are 85 years old and go diving for the first time. It's an equal opportunity enjoyment. Now, the ocean planet, most people say, oh, the oceans, they see the oceans and land as two different things because we're looking at it on a map, a two-dimensional system. But if we start looking at the oceans and the ocean world as a three-dimensional system, the oceans don't represent 72% of our planet. That's absolutely wrong. If we're talking about total living space, the oceans represent over 99% of our planet. It's huge. Some of you may have been here last year when Dr. Ballard had spoken, and he had talked about the depths and everything else. What I didn't hear was the oceans also take into account or house almost 95% of our world's total biodiversity. Yet, even with people such as my grandfather and other pioneers out there, we've explored less than 5% of our oceans. So we have a lot left. And I'm happy to say that that means that I have job security for a while. Now, in 15 minutes, I can't give you a lot of in-depth personal stories. But I want to be able to have you peep through the keyhole and be able to experience just a few tidbits, be voyeurs, if you will, for a few seconds here with some of the slides. And I want to take you on some of my adventures in the recent past. How many of you recognize this animal? The icon of big, scary teeth in the oceans. Every time you go in the ocean, you're going to get gobbled up by one of these. Not true. But thanks to Jaws and other things, I have nothing against fantasy, but people have taken it a little too seriously. This is actually a great white shark that we went and filmed in South Africa. As a matter of fact, that's our intrepid cameraman facing him nose to nose, or camera to nose. And I'm happy to say that he survived. Now, sharks are phenomenal creatures for a number of various reasons, and if you want, I can give you details after the speech. But they are, most importantly, they're the flag bearers to the health of our oceans. And these sharks are all over the world, not just great white sharks, but all 320 some odd species, most of which are actually vegetarian. They are the flag bearers to the health of our oceans as well. And just as a testament to those who watch Shark Week for the last 16 years and are still a little worried about these guys, there are hundreds of millions of sharks around the world in the same oceans that hundreds of millions of people go bathing in every day. Now, maybe that wasn't the proper way to convince you. But anyway, that's just a testament to the fact that those sharks are not targeting us as food. As a matter of fact, less than 100 incidences worldwide happen, negative encounters happen every year, of which only about a dozen are fatal. But the media will have you think that this happens every day. Unfortunately, the flip side of the coin is that we're also losing between 100 and 200 million sharks a year worldwide, which means that within a decade, we may not be able to see those animals at all anymore. Are we flipping? There we go. How many people can say that they've seen dinosaurs give birth? This is Wassa Island. Our team went to Wassa Island, which is a small little barrier island off of Georgia. And these wonderful creatures, these are loggerhead sea turtles, go and nest at the most amazing time of the year. Georgia in the United States, 100-degree weather, 100-degree humidity, and at night. So we spent 10 full days and nights waiting on the beaches to film this momentous occasion of this laboring animal coming up, digging its hole, struggling to lay its eggs, and then slowly crawl back. And this picture of me holding on to the animal is both a testament to my desire to say, oh my gosh, this animal is struggling, but also, ow, it hurts, because there were thousands and tens of thousands of no-see-ums eating us all alive. As a matter of fact, our photographer ended up going to the hospital because of that. So expeditions aren't necessarily always glorious. You only get to see the fun stuff like these pictures. Eat your heart out, Bob Ballard and Sylvia Earle. I, too, get to play with submarines sometimes. Another wonderful aspect. Look at this fireworks display of life down at the bottom of the Mediterranean. Of course, what the picture's not telling you is I lost sonar, communications to the surface, all the lights inside, and of course there was a leak in the sub somewhere at 2,000 feet. But it's all about the adventure. And here's another fantastic experience. I mean, not only here I'm free diving at about 60 feet. The animal, to give you a little perspective, is another 60 feet down. This is a humpback whale in Hawaii. We share something in common, us and them. We have a reflex called the mammalian reflex, which comes from all water-based creatures, and we have a vestige of that. And what that does is when water hits the receptors on our face, we calm down. Our metabolism slow down, and we're able to hold our breath for longer and go deeper. Here's another fireworks display of life. This is actually one of your national marine sanctuaries called Flower Garden Banks in the Gulf of Mexico. An amazing place. Again, how many people get to say that they've swum through a humongous orgy? So the corals here are just the polyps, and the sperm are coming up and mixing into the water column. This only happens 2 nights a year for an hour and a half each. Phenomenal. And of course, love. We get to experience these lovely little pinniped sausages. These are elephant seals, and they happen to be the favorite snack food of the great white shark. Now, I've just painted a beautiful picture, so what's wrong? What's wrong with our oceans? Well, all the things that we've been talking about and what we've been hearing about on land are happening to the oceans as well. There's, of course, climate change, the loss of our resources, and global pollution. Remember, everything ends up in the ocean. Now, climate change, as you may have heard, has been affecting a lot of things, weather pattern, all that. Maybe you might not have heard as much about ocean acidification. And that's a very big problem because all those things that we love to eat, all the crustaceans and the shellfish, and of course, corals and other calcium carbonate-based structures are being affected by the fantastic carbon sink that the oceans is. It absorbs up to 65% of our total carbon emissions. And the problem with that is it breaks down all the zooplankton before it has a chance to grow into all those animals. I put a little X there because we're kind of at the center of all these problems, not only making these problems, also being recipients to the effects. Now, my mom would spank me if I kept my room messy. I know corporal punishment's not allowed in this country. Maybe we'd be better off if there was a little bit of that. But this is kind of a panoply of different parts of the world, and I look at this and I go, wait a second. I didn't sign up for this. Did you sign up for this? No? Then why are we treating our one and only life support system like this? I mean, it's crazy. Absolutely nuts. We are nuts. We're now at a point where not only have we lost almost 60% of our world's total fish stocks and over 90% of our pelagics, which are the traveling fish. Have you all heard of the bluefin tuna lately? Well, the Atlantic bluefin tuna is down to less than 4%. They're the cheetahs of the ocean. And that's just one little snippet. What can we do? My grandfather used to say, people protect what they love. And that's something else that I try and live by as much as possible. But how can people protect what they don't understand? And the way we can do that is to connect people with the oceans. Tell them stories through video, through multimedia. Tell people what you've learned. One of the things that I wanted to do as a give back, because as a citizen of this planet, having seen what's going on, being the voice for the oceans and the eyes and ears as a diver I want to tell people not only the bad stuff, but what we can do, because it's all about hope. At the end of the day, human beings, if we were only logical, all would be lost, but we're more than logical. We have hope, and we're capable of creating miracles when needs be. So, taking a tipping of the hat of the planted tree programs, I thought to myself, planting trees everywhere, why don't we plant fish? And it went ding. I mean, maybe it was a 3 o'clock in the morning crazy idea, but people seem to like it. No, better than that, how about 1 billion? No, better than that, how about mangroves? How about turtles? How about oysters in this case? And that's how it came about. I'm going to give a tribute to my grandfather who's given us all so much hope and so many beautiful images over the years by creating this Plant a Fish program, this Plant a Fish set of initiatives. And I'm going to get kids to go out there and local communities to go out there and quite literally restore their own backyard. Because it's time that we start seeing our oceans and our water planet as a bank account and stop eating away at the capital and start paying that back and start living off the interest. And so with that, a community in New York gave me a little video for the launch of my grandfather's 100th birthday commemoration of Plant a Fish and how we started doing oyster restoration in the Hudson River. One of the most unlikely of places. I'm going to skip over this because that's shameless. It says, please donate. This is not the venue for that. Well, if those kids can do it, we can all do it. I think the business community calls it CSR. And it's each and every one of our responsibilities to take into account our impact in our everyday lives and our everyday decisions. I want to leave you with this. 3 simple things that each and every one of us can do. Something you can download on your mobile device is called a seafood watch card. And if you don't have it already, you can download it on anything, or you can get a physical piece of paper. But more importantly than that, once you have this tool, use it so that you can make better choices in restaurants and in supermarkets. One of the other things that we really need to be very careful of is if we need to stop carelessly dumping things down our drain. At the end of the day, we are starting to eat our own garbage, and we're starting to see that everywhere, and the effects are becoming more and more evident. So treat the water system and everything that connects us as you would your own backyard. And remember that this affects not only you, but your children and their future. And lastly, and probably something that makes the most impact, is be proactive. Get informed. Talk to your tribe. Use social media. Reach out to your family, to your community, and of course, to your businesses. Implement CSR practices as much as you can that make sense. Look at little Cassandra Lynn yesterday. Have you all seen her presentation yesterday? That's exactly why we need to do these things. She is phenomenal. She's one of those people that we really need to support. And if we can do that, we can empower them to take advantage of those things that we've squandered so that they can enjoy the advantages that we've taken for granted. I guess, at the end of the day, we're all fish out of water. And, a healthy ocean is a healthy people. And of course, a healthy people is a healthy economy. So people protect what they love. Thank you very much.